I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I'm not going to try to dress up. I do have a few things that uh, someone gave me over the winter, last fall, that I'd hate to lose right now. It's all that's been pieced back together, and like I say, some of it's to me quite nice. Anyway, this is not going to do me any good to put this up. My God, I've been putting up videos since August the 3rd of 2013, and on Facebook March or April of 2012. And would like to thank those who have followed me on YouTube and Facebook. And I'm not going to way that I know of. I'm just going to, I don't know that I'll get this up because I've put that up to my internet access and the other stuff. It's quite unbelievable that all of this could have happened. And no one stepped in. No one, like the women's rights groups, protested. It's been the other way around. My husband went with me back in 77, 78, 79. I don't know what happened to him, but they must have got him. The only thing I can, because he was going and trying to get the law or anybody to help in it. That was before I could tell and explain that I was kidnapped and everything in my real name. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. My father's Edward the Eighth, and I look at it back now over my life, kidnapped at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, to a pigsty. And obviously none of these people ever told the truth. In fact, there's been garbage dumped up here, and only if this is laid out before a court in either the UK or Australia or before the American people and they're forced to digest it will the truth be told. They can slander me, and they have, in a sense, like they did my father. My father never married Wallace Simpson. Wallace married a double, and there were several doubles, look-alikes. My father married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. And part of it, my dad wouldn't go along with the demands of the Illuminati, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, the Kennedys, JFK, helped in my kidnapping, and Roosevelt. And let me skip to this right at the moment. Your press is controlled. They're the ones that should be hauled off. They're talking about President Trump and impeaching him. What a joke. It was okay all this time for JFK, and I shouldn't be watching this. I'm tired, and it doesn't seem to do me any good. I've been putting this up for so long, and it could have been checked out by anybody unless they just pick and leave out the truth that's connected, and they just put a portion of it, and then they can go on. Like there's a few up here now that I have to wonder if one of them's Jean Dempsey, the only surviving sister of Lina in that family that had the twins, where they put me. Because I can remember when I started, they never thought I'd find out my real name. When I did the book and FBI and all that, then Lina, well, all that happened April Fool Day of 80 when they almost killed me. I mean, there were doctors involved, of course, and then my ex-husband seemed to have been. The only thing I can think of is how they would have, and I'm not sure that how much all this was even planned, though. My husband had owned Grand National out in Fulton Industrial. It was a double knit. He contracted to textiles to have double knit made and in bolts, and he sold to the mom and pop stores, and he even sold to Donovan's, which I believe it was Donovan, yeah, which was more high end in Huntsville. So he had some established pretty well, but then there was a lot went into it, and I personally came up there when my husband was out of town, and I saw his personnel, someone he trusted very much, more than the one, but they were loading bolts into the van, and then I found out later. Well, we did. That it was told that one of the salesmen that John fired, but the man kept the leased car for a month just for the hell of it, I guess, to get back. But anyway, bolts of material, am I correct there? Yeah, were in his girlfriend's home. And so, anyways, material had been stolen, and I don't know what all. But anyway, it went bankrupt. And I know that my husband was called into federal court, bankruptcy court, and I know he was afraid, or he seemed to be afraid to me. And I think they had something on my husband at that time that they threatened him with. I don't know, someone asked me, and I never thought of that, was he married, already married again, when that was done to me? April Fool Day of 80, that would have meant not only did his sister Laura Mae Childers Klein outside Austin, Texas, they owned a CPA firm there, and they, I believe, owned one up in Abilene when she was supposed to. I was gotten out to her house out there, supposedly. I never got there because she was going to help me get away from this. I had a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, which really amounts to ongoing crimes against me and mine. And anyway, I got out there and checked with her before I went, and if I was going to stay with them in Abilene, and if I got a job, I was going to stay a couple of weeks with them. If I got a job, I was going to move my sons out there because sugar was being put in their lifter, all kinds of stuff happening to me and my sons. A huge spiders let loose. I mean, you couldn't walk down the staircase without thinking you were going to step on one. And I finally got Sears to come out and check it, and the manager didn't do it. This is where I got the letter from the FBI, Laurelwood, in 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. And the spiders were turned loose in there, and it was horrifying because I walked in the door one day, and John was sitting by Mark, and I looked behind Mark's head, and they were big spiders. But Sears finally came out and said they weren't even from this country, they were from South America. So anyway, I don't, remember how poisonous or what they were supposed to be, but it was terrorism. It's been done to us, and I'm getting flap from people on you, not people, just a couple that I'm aware of. I have to think, and if I'm jumping around, why, you can bear with me. Laura got me out there, though, under the guise of helping me, and of course, I got to Mesquite outside Dallas, and I had driven and gotten out there, and I didn't have money, so I slept in the car at the where you run at the rest areas there on the interstates. I did stay and bathe at Days Inn in Mesquite. I'd called her before I left. It was fine. I called her and said, it'll be about 3 or 4 hours. I'm leaving now. She said, don't bother to come because you're no longer welcome. Well, it was kind of shocking, so I got back and my apartment was gone. Laurelwood had leased it in the few days I was gone. There was never any misunderstanding. They had let him sign a new lease, give him the key, let him move my furniture into another apartment. Same complex, just a couple of buildings down or up. And so I no longer had an apartment, and that's when they did the horrifying that should have just wiped me out, April Fool Day of 80. Well, it did in the essence. My children never knew the truth about what happened. And I think it's only if it's laid out there, and it would almost take God to do it, the whole mess out and make people watch it, that the truth is told in it. I wish it would, because right now there's nobody else that could even touch it. It's all been done. Who makes these people pay? Half of them are dead and in their grave. They lived a good life. And let me say this, when this Congress, and you've got Pelosi and Warren, Elizabeth Warren, Elizabeth Warren Commission, lived at Warren Apartments when I worked for the DA, Fred Simpson, who, by the way, the personnel director that hired me, Jerry Gillespie, I just put this up, Jack Hartsfield, the reporter, most of the letters had been stolen, I noticed, which breaks my heart. Somebody got in my file, if you want to call it a file here. It was locked up, but all but 4 letters were gone, the very important ones. But anyway, I looked one of them over and I put it up about Jerry Gillespie. Jack Hartsfield, the reporter, FBI, that saved my life. These letters were from him. He meant for me to put them up, and it said that he was fired. Well, he told the truth, like I have, every bit of it. You can't. I haven't even begun to put it all up. I mean, people would just come back and make something out of that and twist it. But anyway, Jack put up there, and I was rereading it yesterday, and I put it up that he was investigating Jerry Gillespie's murder, and I've forgotten the other one right now. I'm tired, and I've got bladder infection, and nobody wants to do anything about that either. And anyway, not feeling very good, and my ears are popping because I have a bacterial infection. I've tried to see about that too. I do have an appointment in a few weeks to go back. It's in both ears now. And I have seen the doctors, and then that gets in. Oh God, they're showing Prince Louis' photograph a year ago. This is William and Kate, the illegal monarchs that should be put in prison for war crimes. Ask yourself if anybody cares why the press covers every little thing about the fake royal family. I'm talking about Elizabeth Windsor Mountbatten. I'm not even sure she's a Windsor. I think she really is, though. Everything that illegal monarchy who represent the Illuminati that kidnapped me, took down my father, Edward VIII, every little thing they do is put on TV. But they don't tell the truth about me, and yes, they do know. They don't tell you about the mind control murders. They don't tell you about JFK. If I'm skipping around, you can follow me if you want to. I'm talking about those little nasties that come in there. There's a lot of people that I care very deeply for because they've been there and had some input that's nice to hear. But if anybody was going to be messed in another country's government, it's JFK and his father. I've put all this up. Roosevelt, my God. And then they kidnap me, and they do this to my babies, my children who are heirs after me. And you're going to do all this to President Trump? Wouldn't it be something if I were able to talk before a congressional committee, live to, and all this put out there to where people could no longer ignore it? You've had your presidents involved in taking down other countries way back before, well, since 1776. When you stole it from us, you didn't give it back to the American Indians. And then you took down my father because he wouldn't go along with you and your global government. Then you kidnapped his daughter and you defamed him, my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. Looking up here at Leonard Nimoy. And it's not funny what happened to him, but, wow. Well, one day maybe we'll know. And then it's... I was thinking about Jack and the epistles and the letters, and then Robin Williams and Okay, so I'm just going to, so somebody can come out and say, yeah, lady, no, I'm very sane, and so much has been done to me that the people who have come on here, Robin, no, that's Robin Williams, excuse me. I don't want to say her or his name. Maybe one day that, well, anyway, justice will be done somewhere a little along the line. So I think I'll quit here. I'm not feeling good because of the bacterial, and I've gone, and maybe I'll get my ears seen too, and the medicine to help them in a couple of weeks. Help my ears. It's in both of them now, and my bladder's totally. So, and I did all of it. I made the decisions. I went to the doctors, and I've still got, well, I put it all up here. So I keep putting it up and up, and I don't know, I wonder if finally it's ever put before a court or a commission where it cannot be hidden anymore, what people will say, that it was allowed to go on. And if anybody should have been brought down as president, it's JFK. It's all of them, really. Jimmy Carter, I think, was the only one, and then look what he did. I guess they pressured him or something. By the way, it's odd he's still alive if you stop and think about it. He had cancer, I believe it was, and was supposed to have died some years ago, and he's still living. But anyway, presidents aren't always safe, even from their own staff. A lot happened to his staff too, cancer and etc., and his family, Billy and all of them. But by the way, I had to bring this man because his picture's up there, and I always thought if there's the most decent man in the world, it's got to be Dr. Phil. Where's he on all this, the mind control and I mean, this is not a hidden thing. There's people know about it. They have for a long time. MK Ultra is part of it. Brought before Congress in '53, slapped on the wrist, and that's the last you heard of Congress. But they can go after Donald Trump, and they don't care what's happened to me. I'm the one telling you about this and what's been done to me, my dad, my country. And people are just oblivious. They hate me for it, most of them. I mean, they do. So I don't know if I'm going to put this up, if I'm even allowed to, because it's jamming my internet, and I don't have access to it. So I'll see if I'm still going up, and if somebody wants to come back, rather than being positive and getting out there and get something done about it, the truth out there, they just come at me. And back to, if this is still rolling here and I get it up, I wonder if Jean's still alive. I think she is, and I wonder if she's connected to that sparrow that's on here. Because she's the only one left. She of Lionel Dempsey's sisters, and had one brother. Of course, the offsprings of them are alive, and they do know it now, the truth now. But whether she's the one that totally knew the truth, she couldn't wait to get in church on Sunday, and she raised her kids, and one of them's minister, maybe two of them, I'm not sure. Anyway, when she found out I was putting this up on the internet and had found out about my real name and everything, the first thing she said to me, before I mentioned something that she could not wave off, that I remembered. Well, yeah, well, she started with this, hey, that's crazy, that's, wait till I get on there